Hello, this is Film Nerd Talks Films, and just the other day I reviewed X-Men Apocalypse. Now I wanted to do this second video to expand on points that I didn't make. And also because the original video I recorded is struggling to is not uploading. It's struggling to upload. So I thought this would be a good opportunity to talk about the film, go into more detail about what I thought, and I was basically thinking, you know what, let's make it a spoiler review. This will probably be in two parts. I do apologise for that, but I can't edit yet, and there's no real other way I can go about this. So I'm gonna get straight into it. So with this, so I love how with this film, I really do feel like the XCU's really expanded because of, you know, we're getting because of all the new mutants. Like we've got Storm, Jean, Nightcrawler, Cyclops, all these characters that perhaps we weren't so keen on in the original trilogy. I mean, I didn't mind them, but we got all these characters that are new to this timeline, and I feel like it's a great expansion. I feel like this film serves as a great expansion of the XCU. You know, I feel like the XCU is really going to go places from this point on. Not that it hasn't already, but I feel like, especially now, it's really going to pick up and go places. Especially now. Obviously, it was already, but you know, now it's like tenfold. So yeah, it feels like a real great world expansion. In this film, I do love, once again, James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender as Charles Xavier and Magneto. Fantastic job. And I love seeing what drives them apart, but also what brings them together. And I think this film portrayed that very nicely. Granted, they don't have a lot of screen time together, but I think the film portrays what separates those two characters very well and brings them back together very nicely in the end. I think, and I'm really intrigued to see where Charles and Magneto's relationship is going to go now, because it left it very nicely open. I think the villain in this film is fantastic. I mean, Oscar Isaac did a fantastic job. He's very sinister. You know, he's very sinister. I really felt he's very scary. I do think a bit of that fear. I do think he could have been scarier if they spent a little less time having him go around and, you know, making all his and recruiting his horsemen, making them look all fancy. If there'd have been a little less time on that, then perhaps he would have had more time to make more of an impact. You know, like I think that's the thing with this film. I think it's not as tightly knit as Days of Future Past, because so much is being set up. You have, you have all the introductions to Cyclops, Jean, Nightcrawler, etc. Then you have Apocalypse recruiting his horsemen. And so there's a lot of things to. I think with this film, there was naturally a lot of things to set up to get the narrative moving, but I don't know. I feel like it could have been constructed in a way where you didn't need those. Could have been constructed in a way where perhaps you didn't need so much setup. But yeah, basically, I think maybe going a different route would have been better. But at the same time, I kind of like what they were doing. I kind of like how they, although it made the film drag a bit, and it didn't make it and it equaled in a less tightly knit film than Days of Future Past. I like how they actually took their time with things. They actually introduced us to people and didn't say, "Oh, here's a room full of the Brotherhood of mutants," like they did in X-Men 3, which I think a lot of us could agree, awful film, absolutely awful. And some people are comparing this film to X-Men 3. Like, some people are saying, "Oh, it's worse." It's like, I don't know how this film's worse than X-Men 3. It's certainly not a perfect film. Like I said, it's got pacing issues. It doesn't seem as tightly knit together. But I don't think it's. I would never compare this to. I would never say this is worse than X-Men 3, especially due to the big finale. So this is a really good X-Men film. I really enjoy this film, and I think it truly does. I think because it's not as tightly knit as well, we don't really feel the build up. But once it gets to the build up, it's absolutely phenomenal. It's absolutely phenomenal. I mean, for those of us who were angry with X-Men 3, which is a lot of us, which is definitely a lot of us, including myself, this ending will blow your mind. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. It's an absolutely incredible sequence. I mean, we're talking Dark Phoenix. We're talking Phoenix. Full-on Firebird. That's what happens there. Full-on Firebird. And we're talking full-on Firebird. And it is absolutely incredible. I'm just going to stop for a minute and say I do apologise. I should have mentioned. I did briefly mention that there was spoilers in this video, so I hope you tuned out just before the spoilers start happening. I'll put it in the comment below that there's spoilers. So if you've not seen the film yet, you'll know. You'll know. Anyway, so yeah, we're talking full-on Phoenix, and it was incredible. My jaw dropped in the cinema. My jaw dropped. And I think there was a nice sort of build-up with Jean Grey as a character to that moment. And to jump to another character, Quicksilver. we all remember that amazing scene from Days of Future Past. They did, I would say they one-upped it. It was absolutely amazing what they did with this film when, I mean, the house is blown up in slow-mo and he's dashing around, you know, he's dashing around saving all these mutants. Yeah, so yeah, he's dashing around saving all these mutants. Yeah, he's dashing around. Sorry, the phone was going and I was distracted. I can't edit. This is such an. Anyway, back on track. So he's dashing around, saving all these mutants, and it's the scenes in like amazing slow mo, and I really felt the. I think there was an air of tension there as well, because I think there was a nice air of tension. There was a nice air of tension because you can clearly see that the house is slowly blown apart, you know. So there's a nice sort of air of tension and this sort of. I know he's gonna succeed, but I was slightly nervous because I've seen the house slowly exploding around him. Yeah, so that scene with Quicksilver is absolutely amazing. I'd say it tops the first one.